Most people begin the day the same way. Eyes half open, hand reaching for the phone, emails, notifications, news. Before the sun has risen, the mind is already crowded. You may know this feeling, the rush, the noise. A day that begins in chaos rarely ends in clarity. Now pause. Imagine something different. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive." If he lived today, without distractions, how would he begin his morning? Would he scroll through endless feeds? Would he trade the silence of dawn for the noise of strangers? Or would he rise with discipline, meet the day with reason, and guard the mind as a fortress? The Stoics saw morning not as routine, but as preparation for battle. Not a battle with the world, but with the self. Every morning is the first test. Will you rule your day, or will your day rule you? Strength does not appear by accident. It is built, quietly, in the first moments after waking. With choices so small, yet so decisive, they shape the course of all that follows. This is why the Stoic morning matters. It is not about grand rituals. It is about clarity, gratitude, restraint, and courage. Today, I will share with you 10 Stoic practices. Simple, enduring. 10 ways to begin the day not as a victim of chance, but as a master of choice. The question is not whether these practices work. The question is whether you will live them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." He did not write these words as poetry. He wrote them as armor, a shield for the mind at dawn. Morning is not a blank space. It is the foundation of the day. What is weak at the beginning cannot hold strong until the end. The Stoics believed that every day is a battle, not against armies, not against the noise outside, but against the restless mind, against fear, vanity, and distraction. That battle begins in the morning, before the world touches you, before the emails arrive, before the weight of duties presses down. Think of a soldier. If he enters the battlefield unprepared, with loose armor and a wandering mind, he will fall. The same is true for us. If we stumble into the morning without clarity, the day will rule us. Marcus reminded himself daily. People he met would be selfish, proud, or unjust. Epictetus warned, "Events will not follow your will." Seneca advised, "Fortune may strike at any time." All of them knew one truth: strength is not found in comfort. It is forged in preparation. That preparation begins at dawn. A Stoic does not ask, "Will today be easy?" He asks, "Am I ready to meet it with reason?" Your morning is the training ground. Every choice sharpens or dulls the mind. Every pause creates space for discipline. Every act of gratitude builds resilience. The question is not whether life will test you. It always will. The question is, will you face it armed or unarmed? The Stoic morning is not about control over the world. It is about control over yourself. If you master these first moments, you do not merely start the day. You set the terms by which the day will meet you. The 10 Stoic morning practices. 1. Wake with gratitude. The Stoic does not wake with complaint. He wakes with gratitude. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning, "At dawn, when you wake unwillingly, let this thought be present. I am rising to do the work of a human being." To wake at all is a gift. To breathe, to see the light, to rise from rest, none of these are guaranteed. When you open your eyes, pause. Do not rush. Do not groan. Say to yourself, "I have another day to practice virtue, another chance to meet the world with reason. Gratitude is not a feeling, it is a choice. It is the discipline of seeing life not as burden, but as privilege. The ungrateful man begins the day already defeated. The grateful man begins already strong. 2. Negative visualization. The Stoics practiced what they called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. It is not pessimism, it is preparation. When you wake, imagine briefly, what if I lost my health today? What if those I love were taken from me? What if fortune turned against me? This is not to darken the mind, it is to sharpen it. Seneca wrote, "He robs present ills of their power, who has perceived their coming beforehand." By imagining loss, you awaken to what you still hold. The roof above your head, the voices of those you love, the strength in your limbs, the chance to live by reason one more day. When you see how fragile it all is, you see how precious it all island, and you are less likely to waste it. 3. Detach from the phone. In ancient times, distractions came from the marketplace. Today, they live in your pocket. Most people reach for the phone before they reach for themselves, and so the day begins not with thought, but with noise. Epictetus warned, "No man is free who is not master of himself." If you cannot resist the phone for 30 minutes, you are not free. You are already a servant to the crowd. The first half hour is sacred. Do not give it away. Do not trade it for gossip, for headlines, for endless feeds. Use that time to breathe, to write, to stretch, to think. When you guard your attention at dawn, you carry that strength into every hour that follows. The phone can wait, your mind cannot. 4. Cold exposure or physical discipline. Seneca advised the practice of voluntary discomfort. He wrote, "Set aside certain days on which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?' The point is not pain for its own sake. It is training, a reminder that comfort is not guaranteed and that you are stronger than you think. Begin the day with a cold shower, or a brisk walk in the chill of morning, or a workout that demands effort. Your body protests, your mind resists, but you endure, and in enduring, you remember that hardship is not the enemy. When life delivers real discomfort, you will not be shocked. You will not break, for you have already practiced. Strength is not built in comfort, it is revealed in struggle. 5. Deep breathing or silence. The Stoic morning begins not in noise, but in stillness. Before speaking, before working, return to the breath. Breathe in with awareness. Breathe out with release. Notice the quiet rhythm that sustains life itself. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful than your own soul. Retreat into yourself often." You do not need incense or chants or music, just silence, just air filling the lungs, air leaving again. In this practice, the mind becomes anchored. Distraction weakens, clarity sharpens. You are no longer pulled by the noise of yesterday or the fear of tomorrow. You are here, in this breath, in this moment. Spend even 5 minutes in silence, guarded, deliberate, steady. This is not wasted time. It is the groundwork of reason. He who cannot sit still cannot stand firm. The day ahead will be turbulent, but the one who begins with silence carries an unshakable center. 6. Review your roles. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Each day, ask yourself what is required of you as a man, as a citizen. Life is not lived in abstraction, it is lived in roles. You may be a parent, a partner, a friend, a worker, a neighbor. To forget these roles is to drift. To remember them is to live with purpose. Each morning, review who you are today, not in pride, not in vanity, but in duty. If you are a father, ask, how will I guide my child? If you are a leader, ask, how will I serve justly? If you are a citizen, ask, how will I contribute to the common good? This reflection keeps you from chasing distractions. It roots you in responsibility. You cannot do everything, but you can do what is required of you. And if you do that with integrity, the day is already well lived. The Stoic begins not by asking, what do I want, but what is my duty today? 7. Set clear intentions. The modern world celebrates endless lists, pages of tasks, alarms, reminders. Yet the Stoic knows the day cannot be mastered by scattering the mind. Set only 1 or 2 clear intentions, not what others demand of you, but what is essential to live with reason. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. A scattered day comes from a scattered mind. In the morning, ask, what is the most important action today? What, if done with integrity, will make this day complete? Write it, speak it, hold it, then guard it. Do not let noise, gossip, or urgency pull you away. 10 small victories mean little if you betray the one that truly matters. Set your aim. Live by it. This is Stoic focus. 8. Read a line of wisdom. Each morning, feed the mind before feeding the body. One line from Marcus, Seneca, or Epictetus can anchor the soul for the day ahead. Seneca wrote, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Epictetus taught, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Marcus reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. These are not decorations, they are tools. Mental armor against distraction, frustration, and fear. Do not rush through pages. Do not consume endlessly. Read one line. Pause. Reflect. Ask, what does this mean for me today? How can this shape the way I act, speak, decide? One seed of wisdom planted in the morning can bear fruit all day long. 9. Practice self-restraint. Strength of character begins with strength of appetite. The Stoics knew, to govern the self is harder than to govern nations. Begin with breakfast. Eat simply. Do not indulge in excess, not because food is evil, but because restraint is training. Seneca observed, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. When you choose simplicity, you remind yourself, I am not ruled by desire. I eat to live, I do not live to eat. The same discipline extends beyond the table. Restraint in speech, restraint in anger, restraint in craving. Each small act of control builds inner strength. Each indulgence weakens it. The body is a servant of the mind, but if you cannot restrain the body, the mind becomes the servant. Practice restraint. It is not denial, it is freedom. 10. Pause before action. The world rushes forward. We are pushed to answer, to reply, to react. But the Stoic knows, speed without thought is weakness. Before you step into the day, pause. 1 minute of silence, 1 breath before action. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Such clarity does not come in haste. It comes in pause. This practice is simple. Before you speak, count to 3. Before you answer, breathe. Before you act, ask, is this within reason? Is this aligned with virtue? The pause does not delay life. It preserves it. It keeps you from regret, from rashness, from being mastered by impulse. Strength is not the loud voice or the quick reaction. Strength is the calm decision, made with clarity. The Stoic ends the morning as he began it, not hurried, not ruled, but steady, deliberate, free. Why? These practices matter. Life today is not lived in the quiet streets of Rome. It is lived in crowded highways, endless emails, buzzing phones, and overflowing schedules. You wake, and before you stand up, the day has already demanded your attention. A message from work, a headline designed to spark fear, traffic waiting outside your door, children who need your care, bills, duties, obligations stacked like bricks on your shoulders. This is the modern battlefield. It does not look like swords and shields. It looks like stress, distraction, and exhaustion. And this is why the Stoic morning practices matter. They are not relics of an ancient world. They are not empty rituals performed for the sake of tradition. They are tools. They are armor. They are vaccine for the mind. Gratitude shields you from resentment. Negative visualization prepares you for loss. Silence and breath guard you against noise. Discipline with body strengthens discipline with soul. Each practice may seem small, even ordinary, but together they form a system of resilience. The Stoics knew life cannot be controlled. You cannot dictate traffic. You cannot silence gossip. You cannot prevent hardship, but you can control how you meet them. The morning is your chance to prepare, to decide, before the world intrudes, what kind of person you will be when it does. These practices do not require hours. You do not need a monastery or endless time. You need 20 minutes, perhaps 30, a fraction of the morning to set the direction of the day. Think of it like a compass. If you set it straight at the start, every step that follows aligns with reason. If you ignore it, you drift. And by evening, you wonder why you are lost. This is why the Stoic morning matters. Not to add more noise, but to cut through the noise. Not to escape life, but to face it with strength. The morning is not about what you achieve. It is about who you become. A Stoic call to strength. Strength is often misunderstood. We think it belongs to athletes, built in the gym, or to the wealthy, measured in possessions, or to the powerful, displayed in influence. But the Stoics remind us, true strength is quieter. It does not announce itself. It does not need applause. It begins in the unseen moments. It begins each morning when the world has not yet touched you, and you decide how you will meet it. The gym builds muscle, money builds comfort, position builds image. But morning discipline builds character, and character is the only strength no one can take from you. When you wake with gratitude, you are strong. When you face loss in your mind and remain steady, you are strong. When you master your attention before the phone masters you, you are strong. When you practice restraint, when you choose silence, when you remember your duty, you are building strength that does not fade. This is not strength for show. This is strength for life. The kind that meets stress without breaking. The kind that endures hardship without despair. The kind that keeps its balance when the world tilts. Now, you may hear these 10 practices and feel the weight of them. 10 habits, 10 disciplines, 10 demands. But strength is not built by chasing all at once. It is built by choosing one. This week, do not attempt to master the 10. Choose one practice. Perhaps gratitude, perhaps silence, perhaps restraint. Whatever it is, live it fully. Repeat it daily. Let it shape you slowly until it becomes part of you. The Stoics did not promise ease. They promised resilience. They did not offer comfort. They offered clarity. And clarity shows us that every morning is training. Every morning is a chance to practice strength before life demands it of us. So tomorrow, when you wake, remember, strength is not waiting out there, in the hands of fortune or in the approval of others. It is waiting here, in the choices you make before the day begins. The world will test you. It always does. But if you have trained your mind at dawn, you will not meet the day unarmed. You will meet it ready. And so, we end where we began, in the quiet of morning, before the rush. A moment to remind yourself, the Stoic does not wait for strength. He builds it, every morning, with discipline, gratitude, and reason.